So it was about like 8:30, 8:45. We decided, we're gonna have a drink at the bar at our restaurant, right? They have a nice bar. Have just a little espresso martini to end the night. That was like our theme. So we were at the hostess stand waiting to go up to be seated, and this huge guy behind us, I looked up and I was like, geez, he's like towering over me. And not many people tower over me. It's very rare, like tower over me. And he had like a tactical vest on. And I was like, oh, okay, this guy means business. Maybe he works for the police department here or something. And then about 2 seconds later, he walked past me, and there were 3 other guys in his entourage. And the one guy looks back, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then Androna goes, is that Drake? And like, it was literally Drake is just walking next to me. And I'm literally like, they're seating us, and I'm walking right behind them going into the restaurant.
What?
Yeah, I was like, and Drake, he always talks about Turks, right? He's always in Turks and Caicos. He's always, because he has a huge jet and he flies down there all the time. I think he has a place there, and he mentions it in his songs all the time too. And it's funny because I'm like, literally, we're those weirdos that work out every day at the gym, when we're on vacation and stuff. And I was working out to him that morning, and I was listening to this rap playlist on Spotify, and I was listening to his song, and he's talking about flying to Turks. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot he always comes down here. And then literally like 12 hours later, I see him. So we walked into the bar at the same time. It's not crowded. There's probably like, 30 people there. It's just a resort.
Is it a small restaurant, or is
it?
Yeah,
super small. Okay, super small. It just has like an outdoor like patio where everybody sits, and then the bar inside. And it was mostly like, older folks at that time, like 60 plus crowd. And they have no idea who this guy is. Like,
sure,
this is the biggest celebrity I've ever encountered.
It's like the Kardashians, and it's like Drake, or like 1, 2 in terms of.
He has 100 million Instagram followers. Like, it's like Justin Bieber level,
Yeah, he's huge.
And so he sits down at the bar. The guy next to him is this really old gentleman, super nice, and he's signing his check, and I was like, is this yeah, the pool? See, that's probably his pool.
Yeah, it's probably his place.
But yeah, so it was 2 days ago. He was in Turks. But so the older guy, he looks at me. He's like, he has no idea who he's sitting next to. Zero clue.
I'm sure
that's the crazy part. Is like zero clue.
Yeah, you get those old geese, and they're like,
he's like, hey man, he had a giant like liter of bottled water. He's like, we didn't touch it. If you just want to, you can have this. And I'm like, get up already. I was like, I'm like, if you move, I'm literally sitting next to Drake, you know? And
God, get out of here.
He's like, all right, man. Well, I hope. He's like having a conversation with me. I was like, get out. So he finally leaves, and I just like swoop in there, and like I'm literally shoulder to shoulder with Drake. Like he's sitting there on his phone, just scrolling through Instagram like a normal person.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there. He's talking with his boys.
Were you peeking over the shoulder, looking at Instagram? You're like, what do you got there?
Yeah, he's just like casually scrolling through like Instagram, like normal person would, And, and he orders a drink, an espresso martini as well. Or it's like really? Bailey's or something. Yeah, similar drink.
Dude, I don't know how people drink that crap.
What,
they're
Bailey's?
delicious. What are you talking about?
Espresso martinis?
So good.
Oh, if you get the right one, so good.
Oh, they're top tier. They're S tier.
Top tier
drinks, man.
S tier. What are you, StarCraft?
So
yeah.
So he's waiting.
That one by me and not get it.
I knew Michael would get it.
I have no idea. I'm just trying to continue.
S tier.
No, I'm trying to continue with my story here for the last 30 minutes.
Tell us how you sat next to Drake, and Drake still doesn't know who you are.
So I was saying,
hang on. What if he was scrolling through and he came across your Instagram, and you're like, oh my god,
you're like, hey man, you need an interventional radiologist?
He's like, Dr. Cellini.
So anyways, I was sitting next to him, and I'm like, I'm not even joking. Like, I don't get very starstruck, but it's Drake. Like,
yeah,
I love Drake. Like, I listen to his music all the time.
I would have like bumped into him and been like, whatever.
Yeah, no, because the bodyguard was like literally helicoptering over me.
I would have taken his bodyguard out.
So I'm sitting here, and I'm like scrolling through Instagram, and then I pull up my, because I was texting you guys. I was texting like freaking my close friends, everybody. My heart rate was like 120. And because I was like, oh my god, keep it cool, Michael, keep it cool. Like, don't say something stupid and be like, hey, I love your music, because everybody says that, and then part part of me wanted to be like very New York about it and just be like, oh, you know, it happens all the time, whatever. So that's what I was trying
to work about it.
you know, because
Yeah.
like people want you just keep it cool, you know.
Very Kennesaw, Georgia.
I didn't want to be
Yeah,
like
that-
I didn't
I
want
wanted
to
to
I
keep
didn't want
it
to be
real
that guy.
Kennesaw.
I don't want to be that guy. I was like,
Yeah.
trying to take a selfie, and then I actually did turn my camera on one time, and his like big bodyguard was like over me, like watching me, like what I was gonna do with it, and I was like, oh, I just did on accident, and I was like scrolling through pictures of Andron, and I was like, oh, what do you think about this picture? I was like,
Yeah.
Oh my god, did you
I
really?
know. I was like, God.
I'd have
I mean,
been like,
it's-
can I take a picture? Like, would you just with no flash?
No, I mean, I was going to, but then I was like, I'll just leave him alone. I mean, this guy gets this. I mean, to be him, I mean, so it's weird, right? Because they didn't have his table ready, and it's an island, and they're not going to treat him. That they were very nonchalant. They're like, oh, whatever. The bartenders, like, they see him all the time, like this, whatever.
All
You
right,
know,
bro. I'm
they-
in the middle of a shift. I don't care who you are.
and half the people, I would say, 80 to 90% of the people there had no idea who he was. So he probably felt pretty, and he was sitting at the bar, like
Yeah.
at the bar with me, like a normal human being. And he
Was
wasn't
there
being
was there a
rushed.
lot of people below the age of 30 there? Would you say?
At my resort, it's probably had the higher number of like, you know, below 40 crowd. It was mostly like married couples or like couples on their baby moons or you know.
So we went to Sands, which is next to it, and there wasn't a lot of young people there.
It was we met a lot of older couples as well. It was nice. It was a good mix, but I think
Yeah.
our resort probably had the younger vibe to it. That's why we stayed there. It's very boutiquey too. So a lot of the older folks like the big resorts and whatnot. So
Oh,
they
yeah.
didn't want to stay there. So it was mostly just young people who just wanted to, like, you know, have good cocktails and lay by the beach.
I
But
feel like it's better
we-
having those tiny resorts, man, instead of the huge ones with like 10,000 people in the pool.
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate
the
that.
only good thing about those the big places, they have a lot of, some of them have multiple restaurants, you know, so like you
Yeah.
can try. So because you spend a lot of your time at the resort, it's very much like a beach forward, relaxed kind of place. And so a couple of restaurants we ate at other resorts, like I think we ate at the Sevens or something, Seven. And yeah, they have huge restaurant. Like I feel like they have multiple restaurants, multiple pools. So it's whatever. It's whatever you want to do, you know. And the Ritz was gorgeous though. I would probably stay there next. It's brand
Yeah.
new. It's gorgeous.
Seems like it.
Yeah. But
Well, that's an
yeah.
exciting story.
Yeah. So then he had, in true rapper form, he had about 3 or 4 ladies come and greet all of them, and then they went off to their private table. And about 10:30, he kind of bounced out of there. Never saw him again. Didn't get his number.
So that's what didn't hang out the next day.
But yes, I literally sat next to Drake. I didn't talk to him. I didn't say one word. But like listening to him talk with his friends next to me, and he sounds like Drake. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
has a very unique voice. He's like when he raps and stuff, it was so weird, so
You're like,
crazy.
I love you on Disney Channel.
Yeah, I was like,
Everything.
love you.
Be my friend.
But yeah, it was cool. And me and the other, so I was next to the other couple I was talking about, who we became friends with from Boston. He was like freaking out too, because he's like
Really?
my age, and
Yeah,
and, like, you know, we love his music, and we were like freaking out. And he was actually talking to him and the other one of his friends about like nonsense. He was very much like I don't know, he's very like outgoing and stuff. He'll talk to anybody, you know. So
Yeah.
he was like, oh, talked about this, talked about that. But yeah, it
Talking
was
about
fun.
Drake or this random guy?
Random guy.
Random
Oh.
guy.
Drake is very much, I would say he spends 90% of his time looking at his phone, not talking to anybody,
I mean, I feel like most
Like-
people do that.
nonstop. And I'm talking about like when they're out to drinks.
What
he's
about
just
when
like,
the girl showed up?
same on his phone,
Really?
constantly on his
Professional.
phone. Yeah.
You think you're just constantly talking to other people? Other
I don't know. I mean, think of how many people probably reach out to him like every hour. You know, it's probably just constant.
You think he married one of those girls?
Yeah, probably.
I think it's in the cards.
He found
think he-
love.
I think he fell in love at that night. that was it.
that
Yeah.
was the final
I'm sure that was
hurrah.
I'm sure that was Groundhog Day for him.
yeah.